Hopefully it works. I like the background.
That's in honor of your birthday, buddy. So, happy birthday. I mean, I thought I could at least contribute that much.
I mean, Val Kilmer, what a great actor. Have you seen him lately? Like 400 pounds.
Oh, yeah. He's a freaking whale, dude.
Yeah, he did not come out well. And I think the conventions are going to start happening again. The NRA's coming up. Are you going to that?
Yes, sir. We're set up at the Keltec booth.
Yeah, I think we're going to go. We're going to talk to my law partner.
You should go.
I love going to the NRA convention. I've been going since it was in Phoenix, and it's never been back to Phoenix since. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, Phoenix is a great place.
That was a great town.
I wonder if it was just, it's not really hard to get to either from the airport, right? It's pretty easy to get
hot.
around. Yeah.
It's definitely hot.
Hey, did you get anything from ASP yet?
I did, and I apologize to you, and I haven't apologized to ASP yet because I just haven't had a chance to film with their products.
No, that's fine.
I got their, it's 2000 lumen light. I forget what it's called.
Is it this one? The Raptor?
I think so. It's big. It's like this big.
It's this one? Can you see it?
Yeah. It comes with a holster.
I think all of them do.
Yeah.
You can
like turn it. Yeah.
Here, let me turn my background on.
I got this. I think it's called the stiletto. Maybe it's a pen knife.
A pen light. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Pen light.
The Scribe.
Yeah. And then they gave me some handcuffs, the lightweight handcuffs, and a holster for those.
There we go.
Nice. Yeah, that's the one.
So that's the Raptor. It's got a bigger head than.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the Raptor. What's the other one called?
Got the Raptor, you got the Spectrum, and you've got the XTDF.
Yeah, it's the Raptor, and then he gave me the handcuffs are really neat. I really like the handcuffs. I'll probably never use them for anything that they're designed for. But
yeah, they got great handcuffs.
Yeah. I had no idea they made flashlights. I thought they just made collapsible batons.
No, man, they make really good. These are awesome flashlights.
What kind of less than lethal pepper spray do you carry?
The Mission First Tactical.
Mm-hmm. What's the SHU on it? 2.5?
It's military grade. Or does it tell me what it is? I've had him on here talking about them before. They've got several different sprays.
Yeah. Fox Labs makes one that has a green dye in it. And
this one does.
It stains your face. And I always joke, you imagine going to work on Monday and Alice is like, why is your face green, Derek? Somebody.
It's robbing a bank.
Robbing a bank, got maced.
It says it's level 3, 10% OC.
Okay.
It's got 1.33 TC. Oh, here it is, 2 million.
Okay, so it's a little less strong than Fox Labs.
2 million Scoville heat units is what they're saying.
Yeah, hot enough.
Got one of these from ASP too, one of the little mini batons.
I've never seen. I got a traditional collapsible baton from them, just like their standard. I got a collapsible baton from a German company that's actually, instead of the ASP, you have to like pound it into the ground to collapse it. This one's got a button on the back end.
This one does too.
Oh, they got one with the button in. Yeah.
Pop it out and then.
Yeah. Can't carry this concealed in Ohio.
Oh, you can't?
It's a deadly weapon.
So you can't carry a gun concealed?
You can carry a gun if you have a concealed handgun license.
Tennessee, July 1st, the constitutional carry goes into effect.
In Tennessee?
Mm-hmm.
It's coming to Ohio. I give it 5 years. You'll see it.
Think it'll take that long?
Yeah, I do. Ohio's always kind of behind the curve a little bit. We just passed Stand Your Ground, took effect in April. But we're extremely conservative at the state level. I mean, Ohio went for Trump by 6 points. It's a very conservative state level government. So it'll happen. It's going to take some time.
All right, we're ready to go?
Let's do it.
Ready to do this? All right, lead heads. We are back with the 400th episode of the Talking Lead podcast. Woohoo! 400 episodes going on 10 years, bringing you the Leadhead Brigade, leducating the uneducated since 2012. Talking Lead. That's us. And we got some good leducation this episode. I thought this would be a good time to get updated on the latest in all the gun law proposals that are going around and at the top of everybody's discussions right now. So I thought we'd just go ahead and get an expert on here. And we're going to welcome back our good buddy Derek DeBrosse with Munitions Law Group. Derek, welcome back.
I appreciate it, Marty. Thanks for having me. Enjoy being on your show, and I just enjoy looking at all your toys you have behind you.
I enjoy playing with all my toys. I just can't find the time these days.
Yeah.
But, hopefully we get to keep our toys, and that's what we've got you on today, is maybe to help maybe calm some nerves a little bit, give some people some fuel on how they can combat this, what they need to do. But the main thing is education. Let's educate them on these proposed gun laws. The top one being the braces. The ATF has set out that new guideline policy. They're basically trying to redefine what a rifle is, too. So we're going to talk about that. California had another milestone in California. The Judge Benitez, Roger Benitez, has come through again, and he's ruled that their gun ban is unconstitutional there. I mean, he's done some other things in the past with the magazines. And I mean, we see where that's led. They still can't have those yet because they put a stay on that ruling, and they're arguing it, they're debating it, and that's the same thing that they've done with this. So maybe you can educate us on that when we start talking about that. Also, is why he would allow that to begin with. Is if he's ruling that it's unconstitutional, then to me it sounds like it should be unconstitutional, and they should just lay the law down. But we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
The appointee to the ATF, the David Chipman douche, I'll call him. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll touch on some other things too. Our last episode, there were some things going on in New York, so if we've got updates on that, we'll talk about that. But yeah, man, just wanted to get everybody get their summer under control so they know which direction to head and how to stay in the fight. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're able to do this for 10 years, 400 episodes through the sponsors of the Talking Lead podcast. So make sure you go and show all our sponsors some love. And you do that by going and buying their products and letting them know that you heard about them here on Talking Lead. Mission First Tactical. They've got a slew of different products at Mission First Tactical. You've seen me pimp out their what they call dump trays. So, with your dumping your pockets out at the end of the night on your nightstand, you put this stuff on there. But I've been using these as armorer's trays. So I've been putting my parts in there, my bolt carriers and pins and greasy, nasty parts, and it cleans up really well. So they're very durable, ink injected with the logos that they have on there, and they've got a variety of different logos that you can get. If you want our logos, I think they've got like the standard logo. These are some custom ones that I had done. But if you want our logos, just let them know that you want the Talking Lead logos on there. They've got them. They can put them on there. If you want the Leadhead Brigade, you want our standard custom logo, they can do all that. Check them out, Mission First Tactical. Derek and I were talking a little bit before. We were talking about pepper spray, and Mission First Tactical has pepper spray as well. They've got several different delivery methods that you can get these in, different sizes, different shapes for different purposes. And this one is what did we say? It was 2 million Scovilles?
I believe that's right. Yeah, that's what you looked up.
Yeah, they're rapid strike spray right here. It's just real easy. Flips up, hit the button. And what's good about these, too, is they've got practice ones, too. So if you're new to the pepper spray world, you can get their practice ones where they just have water in them. And then you can practice so you can get a feel of how it's going to interact with your environment. So windy environment, you can practice in that so you'll know not to be standing downwind when you're spraying somebody. But check those out, Mission First Tactical. And then, of course, their furniture, what they're famous for are their holsters and their AR furniture. And you can see several of my guns back here have their furniture, their butt stocks, their hand guards. This is one of the butt stocks here. It's their minimalist. It's an aluminum minimalist. And what you guys are normally used to are their the plastic. I don't know, so they're not plastic. What do you call that? The whatever this stuff, this strong material. Polymer, thank you. It starts with a P. So polymer. But this is an aluminum one. So You get that nice metal feel, but it's light. It's super lightweight. It's as light, if not lighter, than their polymer butt stocks. And I've really been enjoying this one. I put it on that 7.62 by 3.9 AR build that I did that Brian Keeney hates so much that he cussed me out over. But really enjoy that. So if you're into home builds or you just want to change the look of your AR, check them out, missionfirsttactical.com. And you use the code LEADHEAD, and you're going to get 20% off. But make sure you're using those codes, because that's how they know that you've been hearing about us or hearing about them on the show. And, of course, if you're getting our logo stuff, they're going to know that too. Mission First Tactical. Then we were talking a little bit off air, too, about the NRA coming in September to Houston. We're looking forward to that. And Kel-Tec has made it possible for us to be there. We're going to be at Kel-Tec's booth. They're going to be the official lead quarters of the 2021 NRA in Houston. So we're looking forward to that. And I've mentioned it on a couple other episodes. We're probably going to get some custom dump trays and shirts and things like that made for you lead heads that are going to attend. Come by the booth, and it's first come, first serve on those. But it's going to be a good time. Really looking forward to hanging out with the guys, Chad and Matt, and the gang there at Kel-Tec. Check them out, keltecweapons.com. And, of course, all these people have the social medias, which I know you lead heads are well aware. But go and show them some love, like their posts, let them know that you're a lead head, let them know you're hearing about them on the podcast, and hopefully they'll want to sign up again for another run with us. Seal 1. Seal 1 is the complete gun care product. It's the CLP, clean, lubes, protects, everything you need in one product. And they've got several different delivery methods for their product as well. They've got a paste, they've got a liquid, they've got an aerosol, and they've got pre-soaked wipes that you can use. And they've got this cool little complete care kit right here that's got the liquid, the paste, and they got a nice brush. They got the pre-soaked wipes in there. Seal1.net, and you use the code LEADHEAD, and you're going to get 25% off at Seal 1 on any of their products there. So check them out at Seal 1. And we'll talk about some of our other sponsors later on in the show here. We've got a lot to talk about, and I want to jump into it on this episode with Derek. Derek is an attorney, and he's based out of Ohio, and they have a niche in the market where they deal with specific gun laws and issues and people having trouble with, I guess, the law. Law don't go around here, law dog. Not where Derek is concerned. And your nickname is the Gun Lawyer, is that right?
Yeah, I've been called that amongst other things. Especially I've been in the Army. I had all kinds of nicknames.
What was one of your nicknames in the Army?
Rooster. The family nickname is Debo, D-E-B-O. People can't pronounce my last name, so my grandfather had that nickname. I got passed down over the generations. Carrot Top, the typical redhead thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, we talked about this the last episode. You're former military. You're in the Army?
Yeah, I served 6 years in the Ohio Army National Guard with the tour of duty in Iraq.
Very cool. And Flag Day was earlier this week. Was it Monday, I believe?
I didn't even know it. I didn't know it was Flag Day this week. I had no idea.
Yeah, Flag Day, and I guess it's just to honor the birthday of our flag is really what it recognizes. Let's just look it up real quick because I'm ashamed to say that I don't really know. So in the United States,
I live in a more liberal area of Columbus, and I think I'm the only one on my block that flies an American flag. I mean, there's plenty of other flags,
like college flags and stuff like that.
Plenty of other flags. I'll leave it at that. But
okay.
Not many American flags, which is unfortunate. I remember I was in boot camp when 9/11 happened, and I came home, and everybody had a flag flying. Yeah. I mean, it was just crazy. And it was interesting to experience that because I was kind of in this little bubble in boot camp, and then I come back and it's a different world. But that's all gone away now, 10 years later.
Yeah. So in the United States, Flag Day is celebrated on June 14th. It commemorates the adoption of the flag of the United States on June 14th, 1777, by a resolution of the Second Continental Congress. The flag resolution passed on June 14th, 1777, stated, resolved that the flag of the 13 United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. And then it goes on and tells more about that. So basically, that's what Flag Day is. So every June 14th since 1777.
I had no idea.
So how many years does that make our flag? Can you do quick math?
No, I'm a lawyer.
That's why I got a calculator right here. Let's 2021 minus 1777. 244. 244 years young. And speaking of birthdays, I believe somebody on this show tonight has a birthday. Is that right?
You? Is it you?
No, sir. It's you.
What? I'm almost over the hill.
What better way to celebrate your birthday than to do the Talking Lead podcast? We should have had you on the last episode because that was 399, and you're 39, right?
Yeah, 39. Yesterday was the Army's birthday, June 14th.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I share a birthday. Everybody should know. I think everybody knows who they share a birthday with. I think I share a birthday with Ice-T or Ice Cube or something.
One of the Ices. Not
one
Isis.
Of the Ices. The guy that was in that old movie from the 90s involving heroin. I can't remember the name of that show.
Coolio?
Maybe it was Coolio. I can't remember. Let me look it up here. June 15th. Let's see here.
So the Army's birthday is the same day as Flag Day.
Ice Cube. I share a birthday with Ice Cube. Courtney Cox.
Friends.
The Chinese Prime Minister has a birthday with me. Neil Patrick Harris. Helen Hunt. Leah Remini, famous Scientologist.
NPH. I love me some Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't remember him from Doogie Howser. That was back
in
the day.
That's one thing I remember him from. I didn't watch any of his new stuff. I remember Doogie Howser.
So I never watched Doogie Howser, but I always knew him from that. And then, what was that? Harold and Kumar?
Yeah. Was he in that?
Yes, he's great.
I remember that.
Dude, you got
that at all.
You got to watch Harold and Kumar and Neil Patrick Harris. Best cameo scene ever.
Yeah. Nobody else is really famous that I would want to mention. But yeah, today's my birthday. I'm 39 years old. I got a year left of being young.
Hey, kid, I hear it's your birthday.
So, Leadheads, go and wish Derek a happy birthday. You can go to his social medias. What's your handle on the Instagrams?
I think it's just Munitions Group. I have somebody else that manages it for me, but I think it's just Munitions Group. We're more active on YouTube. We have a pretty prolific page there, and fairly active on Facebook. I haven't been on that in a while. I've been so busy with everything, but I don't do Twitter, just so you guys know.
Yeah,
not a Twitter fan.
Yeah, not either. I do stuff whenever I post to Instagram, it'll automatically post to Twitter.
Right.
So I don't. Yeah. So I don't really. I have no interaction with Twitter, but it is Munitions Group. It's MUNITIONSGROUP. The gun lawyer. You could also type that in, and he comes up.
It may come up. I think there's another gun lawyer out west that uses that handle for Instagram. Yeah. I can't remember. Instagram is funny for lawyers, though, right? Because you can't really take a picture of the wall. It's kind of it's difficult sometimes.
Well, you can. It's just a book.
I guess I could. Yeah. We try to make it interesting, but who wants to follow a lawyer on Instagram? It's difficult, but we do have a presence there. It's relatively small, but YouTube is really where we have most of our social media, and Facebook it was fairly prolific as well.
And then on YouTube, it's Munitions Law Group.
Just Munitions Group.
Munitions Group. Okay.
Yeah.
And they've got a star for a logo, circle and a star. It's black and
like the Dallas Cowboys or.
Well, I was gonna say that, but I didn't know if that would offend you or not. So.
Not the Third Army. Who uses the star of the Army? I can't remember.
The Army.
It's your military star with a circle around it. Yeah, you check it out. We like it. I like the brand.
Yeah, the Army. On the Jeeps. You see in the old movies on the Jeeps.
Exactly. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. Is that where it came from? Is that the idea?
Our graphic designer came up with it. We gave him ideas. I said something a little bit military, but not too military, and he came up with it. And he does an amazing job. And we stuck with it. So
very cool. I'm gonna turn that off. So I told you I've got company coming in this week.
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
So my buddy Chris Brooks from Buck Knives is going to be in town, and he's in town for business. I can't say what. And then our buddy Bill Doe T. Baggins, as they know him on the show, He's with the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. He's been on the show several times. You lead heads know Bill, you know Chris. They've both been on. And, I mean, there's no telling what we're going to do. They're coming down. We're going to hang out. We might do a show, might record a show. But I'm definitely going to take them to Royal Range in Nashville. It's a 5-star range there in Nashville. If you've never been, Derek, next time you come down, I'll take you.
It's a country club.
That's exactly what it is. It's really nice. They've got some of the nicest indoor shooting that you will ever do, and the most knowledgeable staff that you'll ever run into. Art does a really good job running that place. He's turned it around. I think it's been under like 3 or 4 different owners, and then when Art took it over, he really turned it into something. If you're looking
at pictures of it now,
if you're looking to get married, if you're going to do a bachelor party or a bachelorette party, great place to go have one of those.
Yeah, I see that's on their website. It's an old movie theater?
It's an old movie theater. They converted into a gun retail and range. It's super nice.
There's a nice country club in Central Ohio called Blackwing Shooting Center that's super nice. It's kind of like this that I like going to as well.
Yeah. So you can shoot full auto there, anything all the way up to 50 BMGs. They've got the Barretts there that you can wail away on if you want to pop off like $10 a round or something. Go right ahead.
They have quite a few lanes, it looks like, too.
They do. They've got a lot. I don't know how many they've got, but they've got quite a few. Do first-rate training there. They have well-known, international, national-known trainers that come in and hold classes there. We've done some of our classes there, some collaborations with some of the nation's top trainers.
That looks really nice. I definitely have to check that out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll take you there. So we'll probably hit that. I'll take because neither one of them have been there, so I'll probably take them there. Take them to some of the restaurants, and of course, another personality that's on the show quite a bit. We call him Drew. He works with Century Arms. Drew's in the area, so we'll probably go out with Drew and go get some good wings and barbecue somewhere. It's gonna be a good
Just
time.
Just avoid the Jack Daniels. I'm not a fan of Jack Daniels. I'm probably gonna get a lot of haters for that, but. Not a whiskey fan. I much prefer Kentucky bourbon.
You know, that's why there's more than one. That's why there's more than one brand. I love Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels is,
everybody I've ever met who's from Tennessee loves Jack Daniels.
Well, that's not the case. Not everybody does. So
everybody I've met from Nashville or from Tennessee loves Jack Daniels. Not a fan. I have a friend who's actually part of their club. I guess you can get invited
Squires
to
Club.
Club. Yeah, and you own like a square inch of land.
I'm a member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you are.
Well, it was my dad. My dad was a member, and then when he passed away, I inherited his 1 square inch of
of land or whatever it is. I think there's an actual deed, isn't it? They actually give you a deed.
You know what? There is. If you'll wait 1 second, I'll go get it and I'll show it to you.
Sure, I'll see it.
I got it right here. Yeah. Hold on. Keep talking to the lead heads.
I don't think they want to hear me talk. I usually get paid to talk.
All right.
Just sitting on the floor.
It's sitting right there.
Why is it on the floor in an envelope?
Amongst all the other crap.
I inherited this from my father. Here it's on the floor.
It's in a nice organized spot, though. So this is the original package that it came in, too.
Oh, wow. That's probably worth something, just the packaging.
Yeah, so it says Tennessee Squire. Gotta put my damn glasses on. Getting old sucks, Derek.
Not 39 anymore, are you?
No, far from it. All right. Moore County, that's the county that Jack Daniels in. Lynchburg, Pop 399, Tennessee. And then it's got his old address on there. First class mail, 1971.
Oh, God.
That's the year I was born.
That's why he was drinking so much back then.
Right. I was the youngest. So yeah. So this is 50 years old. It says July. I was born in February. Let's take it out. So there's.
Oh, that's cool. That is pretty neat.
Nice, heavy, thick cardboard deed. It's an actual deed.
Do you get do you get to do barrel tastings, or what do you get for that?
I have no idea.
You get barrel tastings, or you get to buy certain types of select barrels or something.
There's some sort of privilege, yeah. But it says Tennessee Squire. It is hereby warranted that the above title be rightfully awarded to my dad. That said part of your party's of the first part for, in consideration, said party of the second parts avowed and generally, you know what, you interpret all this for us. Express loyalty to and devotion for Jack Daniel's charcoal mellowed whiskey and other valuable considerations rendered by the said party of the second part, the receipt of which is hereby acknowledged, does by these presents grant, convey, and confirm unto the said party of the second part the above title and rights of land pertaining to said title. And then it's got D.E. Motlow Reagan something. I don't know. Can't read that name. July 9th.
I did understand that. I understood all that.
So it says the following real estate situated in the county of Moore, and more particularly plot, blah, blah, blah. So it's got a plot number, dated June 1st, 1955.
Wow.
And being part of the land conveyed in deed book is the book and page. Near the hollow, the site still used for charcoal mellowing Tennessee whiskey, drop by drop, to have and to hold the same together with all rights and appurtenances to the same belonging unto said party and to the heirs and assigns of such party forever.
Yeah, perpetual.
Then D.E. Motlow, Jack Daniel Distillery. So I guess D.E. Motlow was the
president.
Yeah, back in those days.
Yeah, that reads like a real deed. There was consideration, which was him drinking the whiskey or whatever it said in exchange for the land.
Yeah, that's what.
Interesting. That's pretty neat. That's a piece of family history right there.
Oh wait, there's something. This is my golden ticket. It says I own Jack Daniels.
My wife, for my birthday, I got my present today. I got a real copper flask.
Oh, sweet.
Made of real copper. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Nice. Yeah, so this is another piece of documentation. Can you see that?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's neat.
That's like really that's typed. Old typewriter.
Yeah, that's typewriter. Yeah.
This is the oldest registered distillery in the USA. Established 1866, Jack Daniel Distillery. Lim Motlow Prop Incorporated, distillers and bottlers of the famous Jack Daniels whiskey. It's got my dad's name on there. It says, Dear Mr. Holder, Mr. John J. Ash has asked that we add you to our Tennessee Squire Association. We are delighted. This little organization was formed several years ago and is made up of prominent people in business, the professions, entertainment, etc., who have been friends of our distillery and have enjoyed our product. Enclosed are your official credentials, making you a full-fledged Tennessee Squire. There's no obligation whatsoever on your part, nor any attempt made by our company to use the good names of our squires in any way. It is just our feeling that too little time is spent in this day and age enjoying the friendship of others. Ain't that the truth? The Tennessee Squire Association is our small attempt to speak up. Mr. Holder, should you be traveling through Lynchburg, do drop by and see us. We would consider it a privilege to show you through our distillery. Sincerely, Winston E. Smith, President.
I wonder how many people remember.
Winston E. Smith?
No, I wonder how many members there are.
Oh, how many members? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure there's probably some sort of a registry. And there's their phone number. Their phone number's still good. No email address.
In that day and age, right? In the 1970s.
1970, well, July 9th. So February, March, April, May, June, July. So I was like just a little over 4 months old.
So get this. I just looked it up. To become a squire, you got to love Jack Daniels, and you have to be nominated by a current squire who, this is interesting, can only nominate one person in their entire lifetime.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So that gentleman who recommended your father, that was his only referral.
The only one he ever got.
I wonder who your father recommended.
I don't know. What if they have that on record?
You should find out. You should write them and see if they know.
Hell, I'll just drive down there. It's just down the road for me.
Yeah, do that. See if they know. You go meet the guy or person or whoever.
Hell yeah. I like being member.
Huh? Who are you going to recommend? You got to recommend me.
Well, hey, you don't like Jack Daniels, though.
I don't like Jack Daniels, so I fail.
So there you go, Leadheads. I am auctioning off my nomination to the Tennessee Squires Club. to the highest bidder.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I still think it's fascinating, the history behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have to do some more research. Maybe I'll do an episode on it. One episode.
You should. Yeah.
So there we go. Little Jack Daniels history. So if you don't like Jack Daniels, fast forward past that part. But no, I do. I really like Jack Daniels. It's not like I'm not a snob and won't drink anything else. I mean, I'll definitely try other things too. But it's just kind of my go-to. It's like if I go to a place I've never been and I just don't want to look at their chefs, Jack Daniels,
Yeah. So for me, it's Woodford Reserve.
Okay.
It's just like smooth drinking bourbons. You can mix it. You can drink it straight.
Yeah.
I like a lot of other bourbons. Pappy's great if you can afford it. There's a lot better, I think, bourbons than Pappy, and a lot cheaper. My friend is in the barrel tastings, and he drives down to Kentucky all the time and does all that stuff. So
very cool.
I don't need another expensive hobby.
Alcohol can get expensive, no doubt.
It can get unhealthy too. Yeah.
But getting a handle on the law, that's where it's at.
Yeah, it's interesting. Alcohol and lawyers, I always found it interesting. We have a serious problem with alcoholism and drug addiction in our profession. I think it's number 2 in the country. Might be number 1. I mean, the attorney next door to me years ago died of a heroin overdose. It's a real problem.
Damn.
It's such a problem. The industry actually has an organization to help lawyers who are alcoholics and drug addicts. And what's fascinating, though, is that they recognize a serious problem. From day one in law school, what do they have at all the events? Alcohol.
Right.
It's part of the culture, but it's also a problem. So I don't know why. My law school was a Christian law school. We never had alcohol, but every other law school, every event, there's alcohol.
What's number 1? Real estate? Realtors?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know suicide is dentist, from what I can recall, and attorneys are up there. Attorneys are also up there on the list of most sociopathic. I think church pastors are number 1.
Oh my gosh, that's
which
scary.
Not surprising.
Yeah,
politicians are up there.
Yeah, they got to be way up there. They have to set the bar.
Yeah, I don't know about podcast hosts where they fall, but sure it's not that high.
Well, I haven't. As far as I know, I don't have. Of course, alcoholics don't know, do they? Usually don't know if they have.
They have no clue.
But I do enjoy drinking during my podcast. So.
It's a big glass of Jack Daniels.
Actually, this is rum. This is that.
Oh, it really is alcohol. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, Marty, this was actually an intervention. I'd like you to meet your family, and we'd like to talk about how your behavior has been affecting us in the following
The listeners are going to get in touch with me and talk me down. With Bill and Chris coming in, this isn't the time for me to stop drinking.
It's time for you just to punch that liver and get it going.
I'm trying to kickstart it, knowing they're coming in. Yeah. Hadn't had a drink in months. Damn, Bill. No, it's going to be a good time. So we want to talk law, Derek.
All right.
We want to get an understanding of what the government is trying to do through the ATF right now. How they're using ATF as their tool to get new gun laws and bans and regulations passed, and Biden's kicking us off here with this ATF's redefinition or redefining the pistol braces.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's not kicking it off with that. I mean, he kicked it off with the ghost gun rule. We knew this was coming when he publicly said, "Hey, I'm directing the ATF to come out with 2 new rules. One dealing with what he calls ghost guns, or what the industry commonly refers to as 80% receivers, or blanks, or whatever you want to call it." That was the first rule, and I think the comment period on that may be expiring or has expired. It's getting close. And then the brace rule, he directed them to come out within 60 days. The first one was within 30 days, if I remember correctly. And we knew it was coming. They leaked a similar rule back in, I want to say, November. You may recall that. You may not. There was a proposed rule in November that came out. And that rule, actually, believe it or not, liked it better. They weren't going to charge you the tax if you registered your braced gun.
Mm-hmm.
So the new rule, there's no exception. So if you have 13 armed braced guns and you want to register them in the NFA registry as SBRs, you got to pay $2,600 because 13 times $200,
right?
Whatever the number might be. So you have to pay the tax still, which I find just constitutionally offensive, to be quite honest. But it is what it is. ATF's position has always been, so they say, that we've never said that you put a brace on your gun that doesn't make it an SBR. We look at it from what we commonly refer to in the law as a totality of the circumstances. So they're going to look at the weight, the length of pull. They're going to look at the type of magazine you're using, the optic. Is there a fore-end grip on it? All this nonsense. And they're going to make a determination as to whether or not it's an SBR. Now, SB Tactical is the inventor of this brace. I can't remember the founder's name. Forgive me if he's listening. But he legitimately designed it.
He don't listen to my podcast.
Okay.
I can't even get him on the podcast. I can't remember his name either, but
nice guy. I've spoken with him at SHOT Show. And he's very passionate about his product. He designed it, I believe, for a friend who was a war veteran who had trouble shooting, and legitimately designed it to help with exactly what it's designed to do, and that's the brace against your arm.
Right.
Obviously, people in the industry don't use it that way, just like people in every industry don't necessarily use products that are designed for a certain purpose for that purpose. But nevertheless, so ATF came out with this notice of proposed rulemaking. It was leaked in November that basically said, hey, here are some things we look at. You know, they didn't have any there was no form, there was no formula, there's no point system. They just said, these are some of the things we look at. My office actually created a form that kind of made a point system, because I said we have to somehow compartmentalize, and we have to aggregate, and we have to distill this down in some sort of system. So we would look at clients' products and use that notice of proposed rule and say, well, it's likely going to be considered an SBR or it's not. But it was very unknown, right? It was very gray. Like, how in the hell is any normal consumer without a legal background going to be able to determine if this thing is going to cost them literally 10 years in prison, right? If you're caught with an unregistered NFA item, I believe the possible sentence is 10. It's either 5 or 10 years. It doesn't matter. It's
and you lose your guns.
Federal prison. What's that?
And you lose your guns.
You lose your gun rights for the rest of your life. There's no way, if you're a federal felon, absent a presidential pardon, to get your gun rights back. That is the only way to get your gun rights back. I can commit murder in the state of Ohio, and I'm eligible to get my gun rights back because it's a state offense. But at the federal level, if I get convicted of mail fraud, don't do a day in jail, I'm never going to get my gun rights back, because the president's not going to pardon me. He'll pardon all his crony friends, but not me. You know, I'm a nobody. So, you know, there's serious consequences to this, and I think the public doesn't understand that. You have moms and dads, you have business owners, you have the shopkeep down the street that own these things, and all of a sudden, with a stroke of a pen, they're going to be subject to significant federal incarceration. Like, we need more criminals in our jails, right? This is absolutely asinine and absurd. And the law's antiquated, right? The whole NFA is antiquated. It was passed in 1934. Most rifles were, they weren't split receivers. You had mainly break action shotguns and revolvers, right? And no guns were that short. They just didn't, the technology wasn't there. It's just a completely different world we live in now. And I think obviously the law needs to change. But nevertheless, what Biden is trying to do is shoehorn this product into an NFA item to basically ban them. And if you've read the rule, it's so onerous. I would venture to say that 99% of brace guns would be illegal or NFA, subject to NFA regulation. They break it down to 3 ways. There is, let me bring it up so I make sure I get this right. But
that's what I was looking for.
Right there. Form, right? What's the ATF good at, Marty? What's the best thing they're greatest at? Making forms, right? I mean, how many damn forms can we all name, even if we're not lawyers, that the ATF has? It's crazy. So they're coming out with a form. It's going to be called the 4999, right? So just like the 4473 and the Form 4, Form 1, Form 5, Form 20, Form 23. Now we have the 4999.
Yeah.
And on that, it breaks down. It's essentially a point system where you as a consumer are responsible for looking at this form and determining the factoring criteria of whether or not it's actually an NFA regulated item. And the first section is basic prerequisites. The weapon has to weigh at least 64 ounces. The weapon has to have an overall length between 12 and 26 inches. Completely arbitrary. I have no idea what this is even.
Wait, so they've got a weight limit?
Yep, the weapon, I'm reading the form right now. I'm looking at it on the notice of proposed rulemaking on ATF's website, or the federal government's website. It says the weapon must weigh at least 64 ounces.
Copy and paste that link and put it in the chat so I can pull it up here.
Yeah, let me, this is the federal red. This is the actual rule. Where's the chat? How do I do this? Chat, there it is. Okay, there you go. This is the rule, and it's got a copy of the form in the rule. Okay.
Yeah.
So on that rule, you'll see section 1 prerequisites, and it'll say on the right side, it's weighed with the magazine, unloaded, accessories removed. It's got to weigh at least 64 ounces like that. And I don't know their theory or their policy as to why they came up with it from something. Length of pull is another good example of that. If I remember correctly, length of pull actually was a term the NRA developed back in like the 70s or something. It's not in the law, but it
differs from person to person.
What's that?
It differs from person to person.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. So when you
nobody has the same length.
My wife, who's 5'4", has a very much different length of pull compared to my gigantic long arms. Right? It's a very different thing. Same thing with the weight of the gun. Right? I mean, I can hold a lot more weight than my wife can.
Right.
And then you look at section 1 again. Second prerequisite: the weapon must have an overall length between 12 and 26 inches. Weapon must meet both prerequisites in order to proceed to section 2. So these brace guns have to weigh that much and have to have that much length. Okay. And then you get into the fun stuff, accessory characteristics, where they start assigning point values. And for instance, you get points based on accessory design, rear surface, so how it looks. How it looks, like that matters as to whether or not it's an SBR. Rear surface area of the actual brace itself, and the SB Tacticals have more surface areas. Mm-hmm. I've seen some companies that make blank inserts for the back of the brace. That would be a big problem, obviously, because the point is that they don't want it to be used on the shoulder. It can't be designed for that. Right. Adjustability, you lose point or gain points, how you want to look at it, if the brace is adjustable, right? I don't know why a brace shouldn't be adjustable, right? Why my arm is pretty long, so I might want it to be in different parts of my arm.
Well, everybody has different lengths of arms, so it needs to adjust.
It gets crazy. It just gets crazier and crazier. And remember, if you determine that your gun is going to be an NFA gun, which it will be when you look at this, you have to still pay the tax. You still have to get the gun engraved. So not only are you paying $200, you also got to pay whatever they're going to charge you $100 to engrave the gun at your local gunsmith or whoever does it. Like I did markings in Texas where I said mine.
What has to get the markings? The butts, the bray, or the gun?
The gun. If you're going to register it on the NFA registry on what we call a Form 1, meaning you're making your own short barrel rifle, you have to engrave the name of the owner, the city, and the state to the ATF specifications. Okay, so you have to engrave it. I make my own SBRs from time to time. I send it off to be engraved. It has the name of my trust, my city, and my state, right? So that all has to be done if you register these. So let's say hypothetically there's somebody out there who has 13 of these brace guns. So that's $2,600 in tax, plus another, $1,300, give or take, in engravings. All right, it's crazy. It's $4,000.
Plus the downtime while you're waiting for the paperwork.
That's right. So there's another option. You can take the brace off and just not have a brace on it at all, or you can put a stock on it and register it, of course.
Well, you can have the buffer tube. You can just have the buffer tube, but it can't have notches in it.
I believe I'd have to double check that. I'm not sure if that's correct. That may be correct.
I'm pretty sure that's correct. I think I read that. So if you take the brace off, the buffer tube can't have the notches.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Because at that point, then they go into intention. You could put one back on it if you wanted to. You know how they rule stuff.
Well, and that's just it, right? So you asked a more general question at the beginning of the podcast. What's going on with ATF, and how's the government utilizing the ATF? And every time you see a different presidential administration, you see the culture change. You've seen it change from Trump to Biden, especially with the nomination of Mr. Chipman, who is a notoriously anti-gunner. There was a video of him. He was being inquired upon in Congress, and he blatantly came out and said that he doesn't think AR-15 should be legal. They just should be illegal.
He was one of the co-founders of the was it the Brady Foundation?
Yeah, Moms and Men Action, the Everytown for Gun Safety, one of those organizations. They all kind of embed together with each other one way or another. But
he's notoriously anti-gun. His whole background and
it's absolutely anti-gun. It's absolutely anti-constitutional, in my opinion. At the end of the day, what you have here is an agency that takes advantage of very nebulous laws that have a lot of gray built in.
Well, I'm talking about appointing this David Chipman guy. There's no bones about it. He is anti-gun. There's no hiding it. You know, I don't think he's even denying it. He is completely anti-gun, and they're wanting to appoint him to the ATF, this government entity that determines what's legal and what's not legal. I mean, they don't make the laws, but they make suggestions that then lawmakers go and, based on their suggestions, form their laws on.
Right. They assist with the promulgation of the rules and how to interpret the law. Yeah. And that's the problem. They are assigned this authority that completely changes how the law has been enforced for years and years and years. You've seen it with the bump stock ban. Now, look, I'm not saying bump stock are these great inventions that should be, in every household.
But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's exactly right, because they were absolutely not machine guns. And all of a sudden, because something tragic happened, we're just going to say the law means something different. That's called a lack of absolute truth. And we need absolute truth in the law, or else do you know you're breaking the law, right? Mm-hmm. And this is why we have a Congress to pass new laws. And if they can't get them passed, well, maybe there's a reason why they can't be passed.
Well, speaking of the bump stock, wasn't that overturned?
I think it's still currently being litigated. I believe as to one of the plaintiffs, it would stay, meaning it's not going to be enforced against that person until the litigation resolves itself. I have not heard that litigation has resolved itself. Okay. So
last I heard,
I believe the rule still stands.
Yeah, the Ninth Circuit Court deemed it unconstitutional.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. So that only applies in the Ninth Circuit then. It doesn't necessarily apply countrywide.
Sure.
So if the feds wanted to enforce it in my circuit, the Sixth Circuit, they could. Now, obviously, the Ninth Circuit's opinion would be persuasive, but it's not binding on the Sixth Circuit. Let me see here. Bump stock.
Maybe it was the Sixth Circuit Court that did it.
That's Ohio and part of Kentucky and maybe Michigan. I can't remember. Let's look here. Let's find out. I'm curious. Federal Appeals Court tosses out challenge to bump stock ban. This is 3 weeks ago.
There you go. Yeah.
It says they tossed out the challenge to it.
Oh, the challenge.
Right. So let me read real quick. This is on the Hill. Federal Appeals Court Thursday tossed out a challenge to the federal ban on bump stock devices that allow weapons to fire at more rapid pace. Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that Daniel Patrick, the gunner who brought the case, did not have standing. So they ruled on a procedural matter, I guess. But I think there was a few of them. 10th Circuit Court reverses course, lets decision on bump stock ban. Yeah, so I still think it's kind of working its way through the courts, but I don't think we're having any giant luck where there's just this great decision.
But it's not. No, but it's not dead. They're still fighting it.
I believe that's correct. I do believe that's correct.
But it's just tied up in a bunch of lawsuits. But until then, that ruling is still there. You can't.
Oh, yeah. And if the Supreme Court doesn't take it, then where are you at? I mean, you have just a patchwork of conflicting laws. It might be legal in one jurisdiction and not legal in another, right?
Right.
So it's problematic. But back to the brace, if you pull up the actual form, you can follow along and just kind of read some of this nonsense on what they're going to look at. And then it gets into Section 3. I've kind of covered briefly Section 2, and it goes to the configuration of the weapon, where it talks about length of pull, and it gives points depending on the length of pull, not the user. It should give points based on the user and their length of pull, right? It gives points based on attachment method, modifications and configuration, and peripheral accessories. You get 4 points if it's configured weighing more than 120 ounces. Presence of a bipod or monopod, 2 points. Presence of a sight scope with eye relief incompatible with one-handed fire, 4 points.
And how many points does it take to make one? I
think
4?
I looked at it the other day. I think it's 4 points. Let me look. It's hard to read this dang thing.
It's completely ridiculous.
It's just, and remember, you're supposed to figure this out, right?
I mean, handguns have sights on them. Optics.
Here, it's at the very bottom, Marty. It says a score of 4 points or more indicates a shorter fire design. So literally, the simple addition of a secondary grip, it's an SBR. That simple addition is enough to make it an SBR.
Because it makes it more deadlier. More deadly.
Because President Biden wants it, and the people who put him in the office want it. That's why. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. They want to ban guns, and then they say they don't, but they do. We all know they do. It's one thing after another.
Well, they're basically redefining what a rifle is, too. They're trying to redefine what a rifle is.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's just nutty. And what can everybody do? You asked me that at the beginning of the class. Look, you have to make your comments heard. There's a comment period. I think it ends in 85 days. It just opened up, I think, on June 6th. You can do it by fax. You can do it by mail, or you can do it through their online portal. So you need to make your comments heard. People need to get their voices out there. The problem is when the rule passes, I don't see a Republican president rescinding it, because what's the political gain? All right. I don't care what party you are. You make decisions based on the gain that affects you, right? You need some sort of benefit. I don't know what benefit they're going to get by overturning that rule. Once it's there, it's theirs, just in my opinion.
Yeah. SB Tactical, I think, has a link. Yeah. So if you go to SB Tactical, of course, on their front page there, they've got a link. And if you're watching on the video, you just saw me go there. I clicked on that link, and then it brought you to it's basically their summary of what the proposed rule is. So they've got it summarized here, everything that Derek was just going over there. They've got the highlights dotted on there, impact of the proposed rule, and then there's a link as you go on down, Federal Register factoring criteria for the firearm with, so link to comment. So if you click there, it takes you to the Federal Register. Yeah,
I just sent you the link, the direct link to there.
Okay.
To the comment period. So in that page you're looking on, if you keep going down, you'll find, there it is, regulations.gov. You just passed it.
Right here?
Right there. That's how you can submit your comments. You can see it under the word addresses. There's 3 ways.
Right here?
Yeah.
There it is. So you may submit comments identified by docket number ATF 2021R08 by any of the following methods. Federal e-rulemaking portal, and there's a link there. Follow the instructions for submitting comments. You mail it, and it gives you the mailing address, and then there's a fax. So you can fax it in. It's 202-648-9741. And then there's instructions. All submissions received should include the agency name and docket number ATF 2021R-08 for this notice of proposed rulemaking. All properly completed comments received will be posted without change to the Federal e-rulemaking portal, www.regulations.gov, including any personal information provided. For detailed instructions on submitting comments and additional information on the rulemaking process, see the public participation heading of the supplementary information section of this document. And then it goes on and gives you
into the rule.
I mean, there's just look at all this.
How many people do you and I know that own a couple guns, but they're not really in the industry like you and I are? Right? They don't live and breathe it, so they probably don't even know this is going on.
Right, exactly. They have no idea.
How many people? They just bought their only AR. They're never going to buy another one 2 years ago, and the dealer happened to talk them into an arm brace. And all of a sudden they're a felon.
Yeah. And hopefully somebody just stumbled across the podcast and they're hearing this and they're listening to it and they're like, oh shit, I need to go tell my buddy across the street. Need to go tell my aunt. Need to go tell my uncle. Need to go tell. You tell everybody. You tell anybody and everybody, even people you don't know, and they need to take action.
You got me amped up on my birthday, Marty. Thanks.
Do what?
You got me amped up on my birthday.
I'm trying to get that blood flowing, buddy. Make you feel young again.
I'm not berating the ATF. They have a job to do. It is what it is. We have a great working relationship with them traditionally.
But you know what? They shouldn't have a job to do. There should not be. There should be no NFA.
Well, half of the federal government shouldn't exist, in my opinion.
Yeah, so exactly. And this is a great place to start. Sizing down the government is the ATF. Get rid of the ATF.
Yeah. Wasn't it Rand Paul who proposed that? Get rid of the ATF? Or was it Ron Paul? Might have been Ron Paul.
I don't know, but he should be president.
Good luck.
Or something, anyway. He should be the leader of the ATF. Ron
Paul calls to abolish ATF in 2007. So that was Ron.
But, if you're sitting at home and you're listening to this, you're like, I'm not going to do that. It's not going to make a difference. There's nothing I can do to do it. But, yeah, there is. The more people that they hear from, and they see that this is something that is not a popular decision, then they're going to think twice about it. Now, they could still go ahead and do it, no matter what, because that's what happened with the bump stocks. Popular vote and comments were don't do it, but they still went ahead and did it. So, but at least everybody goes on record, and if anything ever comes up again, then it proves the backing. It just shows that there is a backing, there is support for it. And they're supposed to be showing all the results too. The number of people that write in, right? In that public record?
And even if your listeners don't have one, you have to understand that this is just one item. It's just going to be another item tomorrow. And when the hell did a brace become like this deadly instrument? When has that ever been like an issue where that's what led to massive deaths?
When did a weapon under 16 inches become more deadly than a weapon over 16 inches?
The shooter in Dayton, Ohio, I think, used a brace. But that's not why he was effective. At least that's what I would argue. He could have done that with a normal length mil-spec AR-15 just as easily.
Yeah.
Is what it is. I'm talking to the wall here. So
right. Well, and it goes back to the bump stock too. Of course, their big springboard on that was the Las Vegas shooter. He used a bump stock, and before that, nobody really even heard of a bump. They're like, "What's a bump stock?" Right. And then the people in the community, like you and me, were like, "It's a gimmick. It's a novelty item. It's not something that I would ever want or use." But at the same time, I see where they're going with it. They take this, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. So even though I could care less about a bump stock, I still voiced my opinion and showed my opposition to it.
And Marty, here's the thing. I've lived long enough. You lived long enough to know what the trajectory is. It's always something more. We give them this, they're going to want something more. We give them that, it's something more. And pretty soon they've eaten enough bites of the cake. There's no cake left for anybody.
Yeah. So, and this gets back to what I was talking about earlier too, is so by using the ATF, they're kind of circumventing the laws, right?
In layman's terms, there's legal jurisprudence on the authority that agencies and departments have. I mean, they're not allowed to write the law, but they write the rules on how the law is enforced and what it means and things like that. And I know there's been some lawsuits filed in the gun arena to try and challenge that, predominantly with the bump stock ban. But we've not, to my knowledge, gotten a lot of traction with that. But you have these laws that need to be enforced, and the ATF takes advantage of that, in my opinion, depending on what the political climate is.
Yeah, and that's what Biden is doing, is he's trying to circumvent our normal standard operation procedures for passing laws like this. And he's going through and using the ATF to redefine basically what something is, just like they did with the bump stocks, calling them machine guns.
Right.
Where there's nothing about a bump stock that even comes close to the definition of what a machine gun is. And that's what I was reading earlier too, and that was the argument, and that's why it was being overturned, is because the bump stock does nothing for one trigger pull, one bullet. It still does that. You still one trigger pull, one bullet, instead of one trigger pull, multiple bullets coming out.
Sure.
I mean, even multiple bullets, you still only get one bullet come out with at a time, even on full auto.
You saw a lot of problems with how the law was written in 1968 gun control act. I had a brain fart. But back then when they defined firearm, you saw this in the new notice of proposed rulemaking with regards to ghost guns, and they started talking about split receivers and the AR style gun, right? Because the way they define firearm, because not all the necessary components were housed in one receiver, the upper or the lower, neither was actually considered a firearm, right? You look at the definition, it has to include, I'm going to butcher this, it has to include the bolt or breech lock, the hammer, and there's another component. But in the AR, the bolt's in the upper and everything else is in the lower. There's actually a case about this that was cited by ATF. It's called the Roe case out of California, ROH. And forgive me if I get the facts wrong. I'm doing this from memory. But if I remember correctly, this gentleman would sell unfinished lower receivers. And basically they would come to his store and he said, put it in this machine and hit the red button. And voila, there's a gun. And they were prosecuting him for this, and his attorney very smartly said, that's not a gun. The bolt's not housed in it, and that doesn't meet the definition. And he won, right? So that scared the ATF because now AR-15s aren't guns at all, subject to any regulation. But that's how the ATF's always enforced ARs, because technology's advanced beyond the law. But that's Congress's job. That's what our tax dollars pay these assholes for, right? Is rewrite the law, make it conform to today's time if you want. Don't just make it up as you go on some political win. Actually have a debate about it. Let's do your job. Anyways, piss me off.
Well, I'm sorry to do that on your birthday. And since you brought up California,
yes,
let's talk a little bit about the California ruling by Judge Benitez, Roger Benitez, Benitez. He is a senior United States District Judge on the United States Court of the Southern District of California. He was appointed by George W., and he has been a pain in California's ass for a while. And I guess his one before this was, we talked about it earlier, the magazines. Was it the magazine capacity? Saying that was unconstitutional.
He's getting a lot of heat for the new one, too. They're really coming after him for it. But the nice thing about being a federal judge is you really can't be fired. You have to be impeached. The governor of California bashed him. It's
the corrupt government there in California that's really attacking him and attacking his decision. For instance, California Appeals Court ruling upended assault weapons ban. Sacramento, California. California's governor denounced its starkly personal terms. California's governor denounced in starkly personal terms a federal judge's upending of the state's restrictions on assault weapons, as officials announced the filing Thursday of a formal notice that they will appeal the decision. They described last week's ruling by U.S. District Judge Roger Benitez as an outlier that conflicts with at least 6 other federal decisions upholding assault weapon laws in California and elsewhere. A ruling that is designed to get the issues before a recently more conservative U.S. Supreme Court. And, of course, that's the Newsom douche.
And then obviously the media started spinning everything. I mean, some of the points the judge made out was this law, I think, passed in 89, if I remember correctly, after a shooting. And he said, look, it's a failure, right? It hasn't actually prevented any more mass shootings. It's not working, right? So that's part of the constitutional analysis. You're balancing, the protection of society versus, the infringement on someone's civil liberties. It's called the standard of review when you challenge something that's constitutional, and there's different standards. And regarding guns, the Supreme Court has not decided what standard to use. For layman's terms, for your listeners, it's basically an easy, medium, and a hard standard. And depending on what the right is, it will be applied against that standard. Like freedom of speech, I believe, is applied against the hard standard. So it takes a lot for the government to regulate freedom of speech. And most of the courts on guns have been coming down to the middle. Right now, they won't do the easy one because Scalia basically shut that out of the park in the Heller decision. So it's not going to be what we call rational basis. It's got to be something higher than that, or heightened scrutiny, as they say. I actually had a case in the Sixth Circuit where I argued it should have been strict scrutiny, and I had a judge agree with me, but the other 2 judges did not. And when you read these decisions, it's just not based in anything. It's very short. It's very not well thought out or analyzed, but Benitez's opinion is well thought out. It's well supported. In the Sixth Circuit, when we had the case that set the standard as the hard standard, the strict scrutiny standard, I think it was written by Justice Boggs. He went through every jurisdiction that wrote that it should be the middle standard, and he just annihilated every one of them. And then they overruled him on bonk, meaning the entire court got together and said you're wrong, and here's why. And that decision was garbage. So it's just politics at its best. But I think his decision is right. I think he used the term that the AR-15 is a Swiss Army knife of guns. Does that sound right?
Yeah, he compared it to a Swiss Army knife, which I didn't think was a very stellar comparison, but whatever.
Yeah, he did that, and they had a field day with that.
Swiss
it's much more deadly than that.
Army knife. Well, more people are killed by knives than firearms.
So you asked me before the show started, about the stay. I think he put it on an automatic stay on the decision.
Yeah, so he made the decision, and then he put a stay on it after he made the decision. And I was asking you, why would he do that? Why wouldn't he just? Because he's a federal judge, and it was ruled unconstitutional.
Well, he did. It's pretty common, I think. He knows it's going to be appealed. I think it was It might have been requested by the government to put the stay on. That stay, just so you know, will likely be extended. It's going to take more than 30 days for the appeal to wind its way through the courts.
Yeah, which is exactly what they did on the magazine ban.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why there wasn't a stay, or if there was a stay and it expired. I don't think there was a stay, if I remember correctly. But I haven't researched this, but my guess is that, they're appealing it. The government requested it. So instead of rocking the boat, let's wait to see how the appeals court fleshes it out. Yeah. So it doesn't create more guns to the marketplace that are illegal.
But that's the thing. Same thing with the same thing with the magazine. The state is still appealing the 2017 ruling that he did on the magazines.
And didn't they put a stay in place?
Yeah. They put a stay in. So people, it's ruled that it's unconstitutional, but they're appealing it, and during the appeals process, nobody can still, they can't buy the magazines. Right. They can't have the magazines, even though it's been determined.
I thought that's what happened. Yeah. But it's not uncommon to have stays on things like that. It doesn't surprise me. I don't think the Ninth Circuit's going to uphold his decision. I think they'll overturn it just based on historic precedent in that area. It's a very liberal court. Now, Trump has done a good job of putting in judges in that area, right? Trump did one really good thing, and that was his judicial appointments. So maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get the right panel. But even if the panel rules in favor of what the judge said at the district level, that can still be overturned en banc, which means that the entire court gets together and says, we don't like what these three judges decided, we're going to do something different. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it can go up to the Supreme Court. So this is going to take years to be resolved. If the Supreme Court would hear it, they might not hear it.
Yeah. Well, it just, for California, it sucks. To get this great news, and then all of a sudden it's like, but you still can't.
We needed the victory. It's easier to keep winning if you win from the start. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But it's California. I feel like the Republicans let that state go the way of the dodo bird probably 10, 20 years ago. They just kind of gave up on it.
So let's see. You were talking about the Swiss Army. I was trying to find his statement about the Swiss Army knife. Statement. Compared to AR-15 rifle to a Swiss Army knife has no basis in law or fact. The ban on assault weapons will not put an end to all gun violence, but it is one important tool the state has to protect the safety of Californians while also respecting the rights of law-abiding residents who choose to possess firearms. We have appealed the district court's ruling and will continue our defense of the state's common sense gun laws. This is the Benitez guy.
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal said he stated to give them a chance to appeal, which is what I figured. Usually your appeal window is 30 days, so it's in line with the appeal window. And then the appeals court will take it over and go from there.
But they keep stating that California's assault weapons ban has saved lives, which they have no facts to back that up with. It's
they use statistics. They cherry pick, right? You can say, well, California. I think what they said, Marty, is California has lower deaths than the entire country. Well, you can't say that's directly the result of your ban. There's so many variables. Right?
Yeah.
You could name all kinds of variables. The culture's changed. I don't know. People became more Christian. I don't know. Whatever it might be, there's all kinds of different variables I think that could play a part in that. I think violent deaths worldwide have progressively gone down over the years. And you can't just say it's because of these laws. I just think that's just intellectually dishonest.
Well, people are living longer, People live longer in general. That's because of science.
I think it's because of many
variables. They should outlaw science. I'm trying to find his Swiss Army.
Oh, signs. You have any neighbors where you live that have the signs up front that just to let you know this is what I believe, and there's like 10 things listed? You ever seen those?
No, and signs?
Yeah, there's these yard signs.
No, we don't allow those here.
Say I believe in.
We don't allow free speech here.
Yeah, in this house we believe in science. We believe in equality, and I'm like, oh my God. Thank you for telling me. Like, I needed to know that.
Right. I really could care less what you believe in.
It's just virtue signaling, man. It's nonsense. This is why I'm moving, getting out of the city. You can't find that quote either, but he definitely made it.
I keep getting this Benitez douche.
Well, good for him for standing up in an atmosphere that's not too friendly to him. Swiss
Army knife or AR-15. Who is Roger Benitez? It's a good thing I had it.
Might have to read the opinion to get the actual verbiage.
I mean, it's got to be here. I've read it like 10 times. I just can't find it now.
Went on Twitter, I think. Give me a second here. All right, quote. This is from Guns Down America, whatever that is. It doesn't sound good, but they quoted him, so hopefully it's accurate. I don't know if it is, guys. Just FYI. It says, according to Judge Roger Benitez, quote, like the Swiss Army knife, the popular AR-15 rifle is a perfect combination of home defense weapon and homeland defense equipment. So, and then they have this thing on their blog about the differences between the two. One's not a gun, you idiots.
Right.
You missed the point. He missed the point.
Anyway, that's something to keep an eye on, and definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's really not much we can do other than you talk to your congressman, you talk to your local politicians, officials.
Well, the number one thing your listeners can do with regards to something like that is they have to vote in the presidential election. The president is the one who gets to nominate federal judges and make these decisions. And like I said, Trump really did his best to really affect the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. So let's see what happens, but make sure you're voting in the presidential elections.
And they also get to appoint the head of the ATF.
We haven't had an actual director of ATF since when? How long ago was that?
It's been a long time. Am I still sharing my screen?
Was it 2013, I think? Todd Jones, was that it?
That sounds right.
Barack Obama, Todd Jones, I think that was it. Yeah. Then we just have acting directors after that because they can't get through the Senate. But anyways.
So is this guy, is he the head of the ATF now, or is he still acting?
He'll never get confirmed. I just don't think it'll happen. He'll be the acting director. Well, look, he can still do a lot of damage as acting director.
He already is,
yeah. He sets the tempo. He sets the culture.
So look what he's doing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, there is an article I saw a couple weeks ago that really kind of it kind of made the ATF look bad because they're like, look, there's all these mistakes being made and no one's getting revoked. They just settle these cases. And I just don't know if that's going to influence the ATF to come out harder on FFLs or not. We'll have to wait and see, but if they want a sharp pen when they come to visit your store, they're going to have a sharp pen. If you get one thing wrong, they can revoke you because those laws, it's a kangaroo court at a revocation hearing. I've been through them.
Yeah.
There's no evidence that you get before the hearing. The hearing officer is a retired ATF agent. No one's put under oath. You have no right to discovery. It's all nonsense.
So let's back up just a little bit, just so people understand what the ATF is doing. It's not a law at this point. What they're saying, this is just their recommendation on how if somebody's faced with a lawsuit, how it would be judged. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
I think I know what you're trying to say, Marty, so I'm going to say it another way.
Yes.
You tell me if I'm right. If you're referring to the new notice of proposed rulemaking, correct?
For the pistol brace.
Right, yeah. So what a notice of proposed rulemaking is the tasked agency here, the ATF, being requested by the executive branch to issue a new rule on the enforcement of the National Firearms Act and Gun Control Act as it applies to short barrel rifles in conjunction with arm braces. So that's what they came out with. They're saying this is how we think the law it was intended when it was written. We think this is how it should be enforced. We want to adopt this as the actual enforcement. So it would come under what we call the Code of Federal Regulations, which is essentially a supplement, if you will, to the law, right? And how we're going to enforce it. Further defines things and fleshes things out. So that's what it is. And so you have 90-day comment period by law, and the window just opened, I think, on June 6th, if I remember correctly.
And during the comment period, this is where you, John Public, get to state your reason as to why you disagree in a respectful manner. Because they, from what I understand, that they won't consider anything that's, if you're using inflammatory language and threats and stuff like that, then they just toss those out, from my understanding.
Probably. Yeah, and remember, this is not to say that if you currently have a braced AR-15 with a 9 force optic on it and a mono bipod on the end and a flashlight and a 60-round magazine that's legal today. The ATF has never said that, right? They just said that when you look at the brace in and of itself, it's just a brace, and you could put it on an AR-15 and it could still be a handgun, but they're not saying, they never said it always was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they've done with this rule is to try to provide finality, that definitiveness, if you will. The problem is it's the way that they're looking at this is so overly broad. None of them are legal almost. None of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people that have significant war injuries from Iraq, like a lot of my friends that have trouble with dexterity or using their arms. And everybody knows military people love guns. And so this is probably going to predominantly affect people like that. The actual handicapped people that need that item.
Right. So as it stands right now, people don't need to do anything with their pistol braced firearms at this point in time.
Yeah, me and you talking, I would tell you that informally what my opinion is that you have a very small amount of risk of being prosecuted for anything. Could they? Yeah, they can make an argument because, again, there's never been a rule saying that arm braces are legal when attached to your gun because they look at the overall apparatus, right? And they've always taken that position, according to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they could prosecute you today for it, but they can't prosecute you based on the enforcement of this new rule because it hasn't taken effect yet, right? So it'd be very difficult for them to prosecute, right? Because there's no bright line rule. They want this bright line rule because it gives them power to prosecute, right? It makes their case much stronger.
Right.
It makes it easier for them to convict you because now here's the criteria. You feel the criteria, go to prison.
Right, which goes back to my original is like this is ammo or a tool for the prosecutors to use when or if you have to go to court over it.
I think that's a fair partial assessment of the overall situation. Sure. Yeah.
So I'm hesitant to say, don't start modifying your pistols right now because this could go away, right? I mean, it could get overturned, could get dropped. Just kind of like
theoretically, yes. I don't see that writing on the wall, though.
Yeah, you think it's going to go all the way through?
Yeah, I do. I would bet money on it.
And then
I really do.
Millions of people are going to be felons overnight. So your options are going to be, let's say, if this goes through, you talked a little bit about them, but so your options would be to scale them down to the point criteria that they say, or remove the brace in a fashion that returns it back to a pistol. And and we're kind of in question right now whether that means you got to take your buffer tube off and get a pistol buffer tube, or not a pistol buffer tube, but
yes, I don't know for certain.
A smooth buffer tube, non-notched, or you turn your firearms in, you turn them over, basically confiscation.
Yes,
it's confiscation.
You can do that. ATF will accept them. Yes.
They're not going to give you a dime for them.
No.
No. But that's basically your three options, right?
Yeah, I'm looking. They actually talk about the options. I'm trying to find them real quick. This is a different design. This damn rule's so long. I'm just trying to find it real quick.
I know. It's ridiculously long. I think that's part of the reason why they do it.
Maybe destruction. Doing a keyword. Here we go. I found it. All right. Current unlicensed possessors. In order to comply with the provisions of the NFA, current unlicensed possessors of a firearm equipped with stabilizer and brace and a barrel length of less than 16 inches will qualify as an SBR, as indicated in ATF Worksheet 4999. Have one of the following actions before the effective date of a final rule. So the effective date will probably take from today 8 months to 2 years, my guess, because they have a 90-day comment period. Then it's going to be published in the register for a certain amount of time before it actually takes effect. So there's some time. But before the effective date of that final rule, you can, 1, permanently remove or alter the stabilizing brace such that it cannot be reattached, thus converting the firearm back to its original pistol configuration, as long as it was originally configured without a stock and as a pistol, and thereby removing it from regulation as a quote-unquote firearm under the NFA. Exercising this option would mean the pistol would no longer be equipped with the stabilizing brace within the meaning of the proposed rule. That's number 1. Number 2, remove the short barrel and attach a 16-inch or longer barrel to the firearm, thus removing it from the provisions in the NFA. Number 3, you destroy the firearm. ATF will publish information regarding proper destruction on its website. Number 4, turn the firearm into your local ATF office. And then number 5, complete and submit an application to make and register a firearm, Form 1. As part of the submission, pay the tax of $200. It's required. And then you have to engrave the firearm with the name, city, and state of the maker of the firearm, all other markings, blah, 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 blah. So that's basically it. So you can register it, you can destroy it, you can turn it in, or you can reconfigure it.
So one of those options wouldn't be an option if you bought it from the manufacturer as a pistol, correct? So if you change the barrel length, the one that you bought from a manufacturer, because it's registered as a pistol, so then you can't change it to a rifle at that point. Is that my understanding?
I'm gonna have to think about that one to make sure I'm not wrong. I hear what you're saying. I understand the question. I've addressed it in the past. I just need to really kind of think about it and analyze that before I provide an answer.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I believe you're right, but I'm not certain.
Because at that point, that's what it was registered at. So if you buy one from Palmetto State Armory, that's a pistol. Right. And then this drops, and you're like, well, I'll just add a 16-inch barrel to it. That's not going to be a solution. It's my understanding.
I think your thinking is correct. I just can't give you an answer today. I need to look at the regs on it because this is getting
something to think about. Yeah, something to think about because that's going to be an issue for people.
Absolutely, and this is the kind of area that I deal with that you would think common sense would prevail, but it doesn't. So yeah, I really have to dig into the regs every time I get asked questions like that to make sure I'm right because the consequences are criminal if I'm wrong. Yeah, well, I mean, millions of people are going to be felons, going to be criminals. Do we know any numbers on how many are in the marketplace? Have you seen any statistics on that?
10 to 40 million? I don't know, something like that.
Maybe Google knows.
I think 10 million. I was listening to an interview with, and that guy's name that we were trying to think of at SB is, I just had it here. Where's my SB Tactical? Let's do it again. He said he's made at least 3 million of one of their designs, just one of their designs. He said, I've sold 3 million of just one of them.
I mean, they're everywhere. They really are. It became so prolific that they were just standard fare on a lot of AR-15s.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, was it the CZ Scorpion used them? Or maybe not.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Uzi is doing them.
Strybog used them.
Uzi is using them.
Yep. The variants on the MP5, they were using them. Yep. Yeah. Crazy.
His name is something Bose or Alec Bosco.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Alex Bosco, USMC and Army vet, retired Alex Bosco was shooting with a disabled combat veteran when the range master asked Bosco's friend to stop firing for safety concerns due to lack of control. Determined to help his friend and other wounded combat veterans, Bosco had an idea. He produced the first pistol stabilizing brace prototype in his garage, and the rest is history. So that's him, Alex Bosco.
Well, I hope he made all his money.
Well, I just hope something can be done about this. I hope enough people speak up. And that's not the only thing that you can do, but that is like the most powerful thing you can do right now is go to that link that we said, which was on this website.
Register.gov, I think.
Register.gov. And SB Tactical has a link. You can go to their website. There's several. I'll have a link in the show notes to this. Yeah, so you go to my show notes. I'll have a link there where you can go also. But just being vocal and talking to people about this and educating, like I said, educating the uneducated. We're preaching to the choir. You know, you lead heads, you know what's going on here. But, I mean, you see the importance of this and where it's headed and what it could lead to. And unless we speak up and speak our mind, you can't sit around and be quiet and just hope it goes away because it's not going to. It's going to get worse. So you gotta put the bug in these jackwagons' ears and let them know that what they're doing is wrong. It's unconstitutional, and we don't want it. So let your senators, your representatives, state, local, let your freaking mayor know. You just never know who's got somebody else's ear. So let everybody know where you stand on it, and do it in don't be a douchebag about it. Don't be abrasive about it. Just do it in a calm, educational, matter-of-fact manner. State the facts, and that'll go a lot further than profanity and that kind of stuff.
No, yeah, take the higher ground. Absolutely. It's most effective.
But rise up. Burn down the man.
I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything like that.
No, I'm not either until it comes to that.
I'm going to remain silent.
There's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, was there anything else that we were going to talk about? Those are the two main things, and we had talked a little. Oh, the red flag laws is another thing that they're trying to cram down our throats.
Well, yeah, that's a state issue. All Biden had ATF do was make a generalized proposed law that states could adopt. Whatever, it's useless unless the states adopt it. So yeah. I'm not overly concerned with Ohio. The governor's been wanting that. Our Republican governor's been wanting that since the Dayton shooting.
But that's another thing that you still gotta put it on the forefront of your representative's mind and let them know that you're not behind something like that.
Well, I think Ohio's a really good case study in that, right, Marty? Because we have a governor that very much wants red flag laws, but our Congress people that we call the General Assembly that we put into office have said no. F you. They've even written vetoes on gun bills that he won't sign. So, you have to elect the right people. You got to get the right people in office.
Exactly. And it starts locally. It starts grassroots. Starts as your class president who you elect in high school, who your class president starts there.
Yeah. It really does.
It really does. Yeah.
Those people probably become politicians because that's what they're into.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, I hope this has been an enjoyable birthday for you, Derek.
I appreciate it, Marty.
I didn't mean to get your blood pressure up too much. I was hoping you'd have a drink with me, a little celebratory drink. We'll do that next time.
I have bourbon in the house. It's not here long. It usually gets drank, so
we'll do that next time. And I think what we're planning on doing is making this like a monthly thing, Leadheads, with Derek and Munitions Law. And if this is something you guys would like us to do, like once a month, I don't know when we do it, first of the month, end of the month, something like that. We may just do it different intervals, just whatever, because you're a busy man. So whenever we can get you. Just update us on all the latest gun laws that are being proposed, trying to be passed, that are coming up, maybe things that we should be looking for and that we need to interpret. So we'll get the gun lawyer, Derek DeBrosse, with Munitions Law on and answer your questions.
Yeah, and I could probably bring some colleagues from time to time. And
that would be fun. That would be good.
Yeah. And we were thinking about a name to call it. We were talking about that too.
That's right. So if we did have a segment like that, Leadheads, what would be a good name for that? I'm thinking the gun lawyer, something along those lines, like outlaw. Call it.
I like the law dog. Law don't go around here. Law dog.
Law dog. Bringing out the law. The outlaw. Bringing out the law. Panning out the law.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shuffling through
I'm
the
not
law.
good with that stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm like one of those that I'll sit there and think about it, and then I'll quit thinking about it, and I'll be like eating dinner, or I'll be out with some friends, and then it'll hit me. Something will hit me, and then that's what it's got to be.
Well, we should discuss the law over some bourbon next time. That might be a little more fun.
I think that's what we need to do. But Leadheads, talkingled@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, and let me know your interest level in doing a legal segment, legal show with Derek, and asking, of course, taking your questions like we normally do, and then answering your questions. And I apologize because this was kind of a short notice show. I normally will make a post and get our listeners to post questions, so I didn't have an opportunity to do that in time for this episode. But I know that last episode we had a ton of questions, so there's no telling what kind of questions we'll get. But we'll do that too. We'll set that up. And maybe Derek, we'll do like a live thing.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you have the ability to do that, I've always wanted to do that. It's difficult for me to do on YouTube. No,
absolutely. Yeah, I definitely can do a live thing. Maybe we do a couple on air, and then we'll do a few live or something like that. Like before we start recording,
sure,
we'll get on and we'll answer a few live questions before we start recording. Sure. I think that would be pretty good.
I've done radio shows like that before. It's always enjoyable.
Yeah. So we got some good ideas floating around for this segment. But I always like hearing from you leadheads. TalkingLead@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. And then, of course, put in the subject what it is. Otherwise, I may just think it's spam and delete it. But I do read your emails. I read every email that you guys send me. I may not respond every time, but I do read all the emails, and I appreciate you leadheads sending me all the support emails that you send me about how much you enjoy the shows and suggestions for guests and topics and things like that. I love hearing that. Our last one that we did, Derek, we had the AK Corner, Talking Lead AK Corner, and we did an epic battle, the AK versus the AR. And we had two teams, three guys on each team, and it was a battle royale, man, and it was a good time. We had fun. It was funny. Of course, we had your buddy Curtis on. Curtis House from VSO Gun Channel. He is just a wealth of knowledge, man. Once he gets talking about something and focused in and zeroed in on it, man, he can deep dive on anything.
He's a smart engineer. That guy's just a brilliant person.
Yeah, and you put him with Brian Keeney and James Balzac and Jeremy Gresham and the AR-15 podcast guys. It was a good time. We had a really, really, really good time. And Jeremy Gresham with IWI made the announcement that we're going to be giving away a Galil Ace, possibly chambered in 5.56 at NRA. So,
okay. I'll be there.
Okay. So we asked you leadheads to send in suggestions on how we should maybe go about giving that away. What would be a good, fun, fair way to give that away? So shoot me suggestions on that also, talkingled@gmail.com. That's coming up September, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that. First part of September. And we're going to do something, but you're going to have to work for it. I mean, this is a Galil Ace, guys. It's like a $2,000 rifle or something. I don't know. They're ridiculous. But we've had a couple of you leadheads that have sent some suggestions in. I'm going to read one just to give you an example. So this is Troy STX, and he says, I'm not sure if I'll make it to NRA this year or not. It will all depend on family and their schedule. But I did have an idea on the new giveaway. It says, really rough and hard to prove what's legit or not, but the general concept could be summed up as listeners get one entry for every new listener they bring to the show, plus an entry for the new listener. It says, by form, email, or such. And I guess by honor system unless there's a better way. A new listener provides a piece of information given out late in a show, their name and the name of the listener who got them to start listening. Maybe I'm naive about how people can be honest or game the system, but it was an idea that came to mind. Trust me, if the system can be gamed, people will cheat, lie, and steal for a Galil Ace.
I think you should just give it to me.
Just be done with it. We'll give it to Derek. Happy birthday. I mean, if that's what Derek, if that's what the leadheads vote for, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, some attorney's going to get this gun. That's not going to happen.
We do majority rules here for the most part. I've only really overturned one decision, but that's okay.
It happens.
It happens, you know. But yeah, so there's an example of a suggestion on how we might give away the Galil Ace at NRA. You got other ideas, other suggestions, send them to me, talkingled@gmail.com, put in the subject, Galil giveaway idea, something along those lines, so I'll know what that is, so I can categorize it. But definitely, if you've got some ideas for what we should name the segment with Derek that we're going to do each month, I would love to hear your ideas. And you can send those talking@gmail.com. And if we pick one of your ideas, then I'm going to have a really super cool prize for the winner. I don't know what that will be yet, but it's going to be something really cool. Do I still have you there?
Yeah.
Okay. You froze up. You were just standing there.
No, I'm trying to think of a really cool idea so I can get the really cool prize.
Everybody's eligible. So send those ideas in. But in the meantime, make sure you go and show love to all our sponsors of the show. Nemo Arms. Nemo Arms has a slew of awesome firearms. So go to their website, nemoarms.com, and I'm going to pull it up right now just to see if there's anything new that I've missed. But I really like their shotguns. If you've not checked out their NX shotguns, you got to check those things out. They're heirloom quality. They're beautiful shotguns, over-under shotguns. You're really going to like those. Nemo Arms are the people who brought to market the very first 300 Win Mag AR. So that's kind of their claim to fame, and I tell you, their products are top-notch, first-rate, worth every penny. They do the rifles, they do the shotguns, they do cans, they make suppressors, and they do handguns. They've got pistols also. So a little bit, anything, everything you need there at Nemo Arms. Go check them out, and then you can use the code TL10, and you're going to get 10% off. That's including their firearms. Anything on their website, as long as it's not like on sale or clearance or something like that, which I doubt they have anything clearanced at all on their website. But again, these are first-rate, top-notch quality firearms. And I mean, don't go on there and think you're going to be getting a rifle for under $1,000, because their quality of these is just well beyond that. Their handguards alone would be $1,000. So check them out, nemoarms.com, and use that code TL10. And then Derek and I were talking off air a little bit, where last episode he let us know that he was a lumens lunatic.
Yeah.
He's into the flashlights. And I was able to hook him up with our buddy over at ASP, Michael Hess, and Michael sent him, I think it was, you said the bigger one, right?
The Raptor, I think.
The Raptor, yeah, this one. This flash, like 2,000 lumens or something.
I was impressed with it. I really was.
Yeah, it's really good. And what's great about them is they're dual fuel, so they've got rechargeable batteries, and you just pop in the USB chargers, and it's just your regular Android USB that will go in there, and you can charge them up, and the charge lasts a really long time. I think this one I haven't charged it in over like 3 weeks.
You know what I like about those lights, Marty, is that everything on that light's well thought out.
And tell me because you're probably more into flashlights than me. I just like the ergonomics of it, the feel. It fits really good in the palm of my hand. It's really quick to activate. It's got the 2 clicks,
Right.
and I can program that to be a blue light, a flashing light, a dim light, a red light, or a green light.
Yeah, I like my flashlights pretty simple. I don't like the flash and all that stuff. I like the clip on it a lot after he explained everything to me on that. And I wasn't sure about it, but how you turn it on was a little bit different. But when he explained to me why it was designed that way, it just, like, they thought about every little thing on it. And it was really interesting.
Yeah, so ASP's known for their law enforcement gear, and that's really who they have in mind. So they make their products really sturdy, really rugged, durable. This stuff's built to last, high quality. And then, like you said, there are features on this thing that I probably don't even know that are on here. But this is just this is one. They've got others that, like you said, that just do the lights if that's all you want.
Yeah.
But they've got the programmable ones, the different lumens, different sizes. I think I've got one of the small ones, the Garda, in my pocket here. Let's see. Yep. So this is my EDC. It's the Garda, and it's really small, compact, but it's bright.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many lumens that is, but it's bright. But it's a dual fuel also. So I can use just regular normal batteries. I can use the rechargeable batteries and then just charge it up and go, which is what I've done with all these. I'm probably on 10 cycles on this one so far, and it's still running great on the recharging. But you just pop it off and you charge that one in.
Yeah.
If you're in your car, just like you charge your cell phone, you charge your light up. And then you said you got one. It's called the Scribe.
Yeah, I got that pen light. He sent me a pen light as well.
Pen light's a little longer.
Yeah, a little longer one. Yeah. I use it for my briefcase.
Yeah, I had given that to one of my family members. They've been using it. And then, of course, they've got red guns at ASP. So you want to practice your reloads, your mag changes. They've got the red guns. I mean, you probably heard of the blue gun. Well, they've got the red guns at ASP USA. And they've got all kinds of different models there. They don't have any Glocks, but they got pretty much everything else. Berettas, SIGs, they've got those. They've got rifles. I've got one of their AR-15 red guns. It's got an adjustable stock on it for the different lengths of pull. Mag change, and they come with 2 mags too. So you can practice your reloads on your AR. It's got the rails so you can mount your lights, your different accessories that you normally use, your scope, if you have a scope, red dot, whatever it may be, a laser. And you can set it up just like your AR, practice your drills safely at home. The magazines that come are inert, so there's no way a bullet's going to get in there as you're practicing. It will take real mags too. I tried it out, and it will take real mags. There's a mag pull. It takes it. So if you need more mags to practice with than what they send you, here's one. I've got some fake bullets in. This is a metal. I think this is a, who makes it? I don't know. It fits in there though. So check them out, ASP USA. You go to my website. I've got a link on the front page. Let me just pull it up here so it's easier if I show you guys. I'm going to share my screen, Derek.
All right.
So you go to Talking Lead's website, talkingled.com. You go to Lead Quarters if it doesn't automatically take you to our front page. And this is our front page. It'll have our latest episodes, some past episodes that you can go and listen to. And no, I didn't have Keanu on. I had Taryn Butler on. But right down below that, Armament Systems and Procedures. And any of these links you click on, that'll take you to their website. And if it's, let me just click on it. It'll take you there, and then you can shop any of their products from here. Put them in your cart. When you go to checkout, use the code LEADHEAD. It's all caps, LEADHEAD. And that's how you're going to get that 15% off that you saw right here. So you got to use this link, and then when you check out, use the code LEADHEAD, all caps. You get 15% off any of your purchase, as long as it's not already marked down. And I get a little cheddar from that. I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. This is like an affiliate program that I'm trying out with them, and so we'll see how it works out. But you got to go there. You have to use that link, and you have to use that code. Otherwise, I get butkus. So, but you're not going to be disappointed. They've got a lot of stuff. They got handcuffs. They've got the batons. I was showing you the baton earlier. This is like one of their new, smaller, compact. This is like a good EDC baton. And it's got the button up top. Derek was talking about how you normally would have to hit them really hard on the ground. But this one's got the button, and you just you pop it in. And it's got those good retention clips like you're talking about, like they do on their flashlights. They have them on these as well.
Nice.
They've got them on that. And ASP even has, they've got pepper spray too. So go check them out. You're not going to be disappointed, especially in their flashlights. I mean, I've been using the crap out of their flashlights. There's a flashlight there for everybody, every size, every use of the flashlights. And then, of course, Kel-Tec Weapons. Go show them love. The official lead quarters at NRA. Hopefully, Derek and his crew will be coming by.
Hanging on it.
If you guys need a place to crash or set up and hang out, come by Kel-Tec booth and hang out with us, Derek. You never know who's going to be there. It's always a surprise.
Marty, you have the booth number yet?
Don't have the booth number, but it'll be easy to find.
Okay.
Yeah. Kel-Tec's always easy to find, and they usually have everybody in the same spots, typically depending on the geography of the floor, but typically everybody's usually, Kel-Tec's here, Sentry's here, Buck's here, kind of deal. But we will be, it's where the crowds will be, Derek.
Yeah, all right, yeah. I think I know where Kel-Tec's usually kind of back in the corner, if I remember correctly.
On
the wall.
I don't know if that's SHOT Show or if that's NRA.
I think it might be SHOT Show now I think of it. I haven't been in the NRA in a couple years.
But they're going to have the new logo. You see there, Kel-Tec 30 logo. 30 years of Kel-Tec. They're celebrating their 30 years. So 3 times longer than Talking Lead. But I've got 400 more episodes than they've got. But they do. They make some great guns, innovative guns. The the RDBs, the bullpup designs. I really like the bullpups. They're shotguns, the KSG, KS7. And then my favorite, probably my all-time favorite gun of any gun of guns that are made is the Sub 2000. You familiar with the Sub 2000?
I own 2 Gen 1s.
Yeah, so love the Sub 2000, the 9mm in the 9. I had a 40 at one time.
I sold mine. Yeah, I got rid of it.
I traded mine for some body armor long time ago.
I couldn't find magazines that fit that Gen 1 and the 40 Smith & Wesson. Couldn't find them.
Oh, the Smith & Wesson?
Couldn't find them.
Yeah.
I looked everywhere.
I've got the Glock one. So
yeah, I got a Glock 9.
Got a Gen 1 and a Gen 2. One's over there. I've got it all tricked out with a red line precision front rail. You seen those?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty sweet. But go check out Kel-Tec. In the meantime, their social medias. Let them know how much you're excited about them hosting Talking Lead at NRA 2021. We're excited about it. I'm just glad everybody's opening up and starting to do stuff again. Get out of the lead quarters here. And then Seal 1, Leadhead code 25% off for all your gun cleaning needs. Clean, lube, protect, seal1.net. Leadhead is the code. 25% off is what you're going to get. Mission First Tactical, the code is Leadhead. You're going to get 20% off. Factory 47. I'm not wearing the Factory 47 shirt today, but we've got this logo that they're doing on T-shirts, hoodies, and leadies. I don't have my leady here either, but we've got those. You can go to Factory 47. Leadhead is the code there. You get 10% off. And then 1776 United, who makes these logos, our classic logos. They make these patches, Leadhead Brigade patches. They got Leadhead Brigade T-shirts. Talking Lead is the code that you use there, and you get 20% off. 1776 United, and that's on any of their products. That's not just the Talking Lead logoed stuff. Are you familiar with 1776 United?
What's that?
Are you familiar with 1776 United apparel company?
I've heard of them. Yeah, I've heard of the company, yeah.
Yeah, they make some really cool apparel and accessories, kind of the 2A lifestyle kind of stuff. Really cool. Shirts are super soft. Love them there. But yeah, guys, make sure you go and support all those. Show them your love. Let them know how much you appreciate them. Buy their products. That's how we keep this show going. That's why we're 10 years into it, 400 episodes into it. And that's a lot of thanks to you Leadheads as well. Appreciate all the support over the years and look forward to 400 more episodes with you Leadheads. And our guests as well. Always go and let our guests know how much you appreciate them. So go to Munitions Group. They've got a great YouTube channel. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yeah.
So here's their YouTube channel. And you can see Derek there. And this is the right one, right? I want to make sure.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So here they are. You got home. Here's their videos. Got a lot of videos. How long you been doing this?
I teach law at the law school. I had a student tell me the other day that he grew up watching my videos. Made me feel old. I think the first videos actually were spliced from an old DVD that I used to sell for concealed carry instructors. So technically probably 10 about as long as you. 10, 11 years I've been making videos.
Nice. So you were on Gun Gripes?
That's my law partner, Clay. Clay was on with him. Clay is a friend of his, and he's a friend of the firm. I've met him once or twice. Nice guy. And
okay.
So Clay, my law partner, did a couple videos with him. They're very good. You should watch them.
Yeah, we'll watch those. Eric's been on the show several times.
Yeah, he's good people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so there it is right there. Gifting a firearm to your children. What is Biden's executive actions on gun control?
Yeah.
So, yeah, some good stuff there. Go check them out, Munitions Law Group, and it's that's the logo we were talking about there with a star earlier.
I got a video couple down on my honeymoon. Was in New Zealand. I actually interviewed a gentleman who's a competitive shooter in New Zealand right there.
Right here?
So, yeah, we talked about the New Zealand massacre and stuff.
This is more than a mirror. This is a portal to your future.
You just made me some money by clicking on that. Thank you.
Does that give you money just by clicking on it?
I get paid every month because it's monetized. So I don't make a lot. It's very little.
So I'm playing it right now.
Hey, Derek DeBrosse here from Munitions Law Group.
That's Marty.
Marty Cavanaugh from
Can you hear it?
the wonderful country of New Zealand.
I cannot, but you watch it, you know, when you get some time, it's interesting. Just the different perspective on guns, even from a pro-gun person in another country.
Oh, you'll drink with him, but you won't drink with me.
Mine. So Greg put me in touch with Marty.
I actually had brought him some Bullet bourbon as a gift.
Oh, I like Bullet bourbon.
Yeah, I like Bullet, yeah.
Yeah, Bullet's good. So, hey, his name's Marty. I'm Marty. He can't be all that bad.
Marty Cavanaugh, yeah.
Very nice. And that's in New Zealand, huh?
That's in New Zealand. It's his backyard, yeah.
Very cool. So there you go, guys. Go check it out. Munitions Law, Derek DeBrosse. And then Instagram. I think I got you pulled up on Instagram, too, somewhere here.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that. It's been a little while.
Yeah, and there's their Instagram right here.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to make a new post. That's an old post right there.
Yeah, that was probably Veterans Day.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I'm 10 years old.
You never got called Opie, did you?
I don't think I ever got, maybe once or twice. I don't really recall that too much.
Just that baby face you got going there.
Yeah.
You kind of like Richie
Long time
Cunningham.
ago. I mean, look at those old DCUs. They don't even use those anymore.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 2005 says right there.
Yeah.
When that picture was taken.
Long time ago.
Well, all right, Derek. Again, I'm sorry to make you work on your birthday, man, but I know the Leadheads greatly appreciate it. Leadheads, if you have questions, if something we were discussing here, you were just kind of like, you're not really addressing that, hit Derek up. Munitions group right here on Instagram. I guess they can go to the website. Here's the website.
Yeah, there's if they send questions into the website, it goes into a queue, and we try to get to them as much as we can. I can't promise we answer them, but
yeah,
you have a better shot if you submit one than don't submit one.
What about on YouTube? Do you get those if people leave you a comment or something on there?
We aggregate the comments, and it goes into a queue. We use Airtable, so everything goes into Airtable. When I make my videos, I read through them. I have a lot of repeat questions, so you just have to look on the YouTube channel. I probably have addressed it in some manner before.
Right.
So make sure you look through the channel as well.
Or just shoot me an email, talkinglet@gmail.com, and I'll forward it on to him.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Either way. But again, each and every month, save your questions each and every month. When we make that post asking for your questions, post them then, and then we'll go over them on the show and maybe during our live section that we do.
Yeah.
So, all right, buddy. Happy birthday. And
appreciate it, Lori. Thanks for having me on.
I owe you a nice, tasty bourbon next time I see you.
All right. Houston.
For your birthday in Houston. We're going to be there. All right, Leadheads, that does it for another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. Again, I can't thank you enough for all the support and keeping the show going these past 10 years and for 400 episodes. I greatly appreciate you, Leadheads. The Leadhead Brigade rules. Until then, as always, keep your loved ones close.
Firearms closer. Was I supposed to say the last part?
And you're supposed to add something else to it, yeah.
Oh. I don't remember.
Put a little punch on there, something to do with the law.
I'm not witty, man. I'm the wrong person to ask witty comments.
That's why you need to drink next time we do this show.
Yeah, I do. I'm also tired, so.